Hello students, myself Bhupinder Kaur, lecturer biology from Government Model Senior Secondary School 3B1 Mohali. Dear students, today we are going to start the next chapter, that is the biomolecules. And our today's topic is Introduction to Biomolecules and Amino Acids. Now students, the name itself indicates biomolecules, the various molecules or chemicals which are present in living organisms. They are known as biomolecules. Now a number of chemicals occur within the living organisms like elements and compounds. And the various elements includes carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, potassium, magnesium, silicon, etc. And the compounds includes inorganic and organic compounds. Inorganic compounds, they lack carbon atom, whereas the organic compounds, they have carbon atom. So students, let's start the topic biomolecules.
Dear students, biomolecules are the molecules or chemicals present in the living organisms. Now, the sum total of different types of biomolecules, compounds and ions present in a cell is called cellular pool. So, cellular pool is the total amount of biomolecules, compounds and elements which are present in a single cell. And these biomolecules, they are made up of a principal element, that is the carbon. So we can say that carbon is the most versatile and most predominant element which occur within the living organisms, whether they are plants or they are animals. Now students, if we do the elemental analysis of earth crust and living organisms, then we will find that the amount of elements or the types of elements which occur in the earth crust, they are also found within the living matter, because we living organisms, they are ultimately drawing these elements from the soil itself. So the elements which occur in the earth crust like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, sodium, calcium, magnesium, silicon, which occur in the earth crust, they are also found within the living matter. But there is slight difference that the amount of carbon and hydrogen, that is much more within the living matter as compared to the earth crust. Now students, we will do the various methods by which we can analyze the chemical composition of the living organisms. Now students, there are two methods by which we can analyze the chemical composition of the biomolecules. By one method, we can find that the biomolecules, they are of two types. One is micromolecules and another is macromolecules. And by second method, we can find out that the biomolecules, they are of two types. One is inorganic and the second is organic. So by this method, we can find that the biomolecules, they are of micro and macro one. And for this, what we will do, we will take a living tissue, either a plant tissue or a animal tissue, and we will grind it properly in pestle and mortar using trichloroacetic acid. Students, you all must have seen pestle and mortar in your chemistry lab. So we will take a plant tissue or an animal tissue and we will grind it properly in pestle and mortar and will obtain a thick slurry. Now we will filter this slurry using funnel and filter paper, not filter paper but a cheesecloth or a cotton cloth, and we will obtain two parts. One will be the acid soluble part, which is the filtrate, and the second will be the acid insoluble part, that is known as the retentate. Now students, the filtrate part or the acid soluble part it will contain all the micromolecules which are smaller in size, which are having low molecular weight. And in the retentate, that is the acid insoluble part, we will get all the macromolecules which are larger in size and which are having high molecular weight. So by this method we have find that the biomolecules, they are of two types. One are micro and the other is macromolecules. So what are micromolecules? Micromolecules, they are small sized, they have low molecular weight. Their weight is between 18 to 800 daltons and they are found in acid soluble pool. They are found in the filtrate. Second, macromolecules, they are large sized, they have high molecular weight. Their weight is approximately 10,000 daltons and they are found in acid insoluble pool, that is the retentate. Now, examples of micromolecules are sugars, amino acids and nucleotides. Minerals, gases and water, they are also examples of micromolecules. And carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, these are the examples of macromolecules. Now students, let's study the second method by which we can find that the biomolecules, they are of two types. One are inorganic and second is the organic. Now to find inorganic elements in the living beings, what we will do, we will weigh a small amount of living tissue. So that will be the fresh weight of that tissue. Now we will dry this tissue properly and we will get what? We will get the dry weight. Now students, the dry weight will be always less than the fresh weight. Why? Because the fresh weight includes the weight of water also. And when we dry that tissue properly, then all the water, it gets evaporates and we will get the dry weight, and dry weight is always less than the fresh weight. Now what we will do, after drying that tissue properly, we will burn it. What will happen, all the carbon compounds which are present in that tissue, they will get oxidized. So all the organic compounds which are present, they will be oxidized and we will be left with ash. This ash, it contains the inorganic elements like calcium and magnesium. So by this method we have determined that the biomolecules, they are of two types. One is the inorganic and the second is the organic biomolecules. So here is the classification of biomolecules into two types. One is inorganic and second is organic. Inorganic biomolecules, they lack the element carbon, they have very simple structure, they have low molecular weights like minerals, gases and water. Whereas the organic biomolecules, they have the element carbon, they are having very complex structure and they have high molecular weights. So students, we have done two methods and by these two methods we have determined that the biomolecules, they are of two types, inorganic and organic, and second, they are of micromolecules and macromolecules. Now next, let us start the next topic, that is amino acids. Now students, amino acids, they are the monomers of proteins. What does it mean that they are monomers of proteins? It means that the amino acids, they join to form the proteins. And this protein is the macromolecule. And amino acids, they are the micromolecules. So protein, students, most abundant biomolecule hai of the living system. What are the sources of proteins? We all know milk, cheese, pulses, peanuts, fish and meat. These are the sources of proteins. And proteins, they occur in every part of the body and they form the fundamental basis of structure and function of life. So proteins, they are the structural and functional unit of our body. and they are required for growth and maintenance of the body. Students, actually the word protein is derived from Greek word proteos, which means primary or of prime importance. So proteins, they are of prime importance in our diet. And all proteins, they are polymers of amino acids, especially alpha amino acids. Now what are alpha amino acids? Let's do what are alpha amino acids. Now first, amino acids. Amino acids, they are composed of 4 elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Students, 3 principal elements are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, which occur in all the biomolecules. Chiefly carbohydrates and fats, they are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. In amino acids, an extra element is present, that is the nitrogen. So amino acids, they contain the elements carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Some amino acids, they also contain the element sulfur. Now, the amino acids, they are having 4 groups. One is the amino group, second is the carboxyl group, third hydrogen atom, and fourth distinctive side chains. And all the 4 groups, they are attached to the central carbon atom, that is the alpha carbon. As all the 4 different groups, they are attached to the central carbon atom, this carbon atom is known as alpha carbon, and the amino acids, they are known as alpha amino acids. Student, actually नाम ही indicate करता है amino acids, that these amino acids, they are having 2 groups. One is the amino group, NH2 group, and the second is the COOH acid group. Amino acids. So they are having 2 groups, amino as well as acid group. So amino acids building blocks हैं proteins के. 20 types of amino acids, they are present in the living organisms, and the amino acids, they contain amino and carboxyl groups attached to the same carbon atom, and that carbon atom is known as alpha carbon, and amino acids, they are known as alpha amino acids. And these amino acids, they influence the 3-dimensional structure of the proteins, and they have hormonal as well as catalytic function in the body. Now students, let's do the structure of amino acids. Like I have told you just now that the amino acids, they contain 2 groups. One is the amino group, that is the NH2 group, and the second is the COOH group, acid group. So amino acid, and these 2 groups, they are attached with the central carbon atom C. This carbon is known as alpha carbon because this alpha carbon is having 4 different groups. इसके साथ 4 different groups attached हैं. एक amino group, एक acid, एक hydrogen और एक side chain. So the amino acids, they are also known as alpha amino acids because they include alpha carbon. और students, alpha carbon क्या होता है? Alpha carbon means the carbon which have 4 different groups: amino group, acid group, hydrogen atom, and the side chain, the alkyl group. So this is the structure of the amino acids. The amino acids, they have 2 groups. One is the amino group and the other is the carboxyl group. Now the R group, that is the side chain, that varies in the different types of amino acids. Student, ये जो side chain होती है ये सिर्फ vary करती है in different types of amino acids. For example, in glycine the side chain is H. सो वी कैन से कि ग्लाइसिन के अंदर जो C है, कार्बन है, दैट इज नॉट अल्फा because it is not attached with 4 different groups. And in alanine the side chain is the methyl group. serine के अंदर जो R है student, the side chain, that is what? That is hydroxy methyl, whereas in case of threonine this is methyl hydroxy methyl. So in the different types of amino acids the side chain जो R group है student वो vary करता है, and there are 20 different types of amino acids. Now we will do the classification of amino acids. These amino acids, they are of different types depending upon the relative number of amino and carboxyl groups. Now student जो amino group है, there is one amino group and there is second the carboxyl group. More number of amino than carboxyl groups make it basic. Now student जो amino group है that is basic in nature, और COOH जो है this is acidic in nature. So अगर किसी amino acid के अंदर number of amino group that is equal to number of acid group, so that amino acid will be neutral. If the number of basic group is more than the number of acid group, then the amino acid will be basic amino acid. And if the number of acid group is more than the basic group, then the amino acid will be acidic amino acid. So students ये clear हो गया कि अगर if in an amino acid there is one amino group and there is one carboxyl group, so that amino acid is neutral. If there are two amino group and one acid group, that will be basic amino acid. For example, lysine, arginine and histidine. These are basic amino acids. And if there are two carboxyl groups and only one amino group, that will be acidic amino acid. For example, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, they are acidic amino acids. Next. Now next students, the amino acids, they are again of different types depending upon their nutritional requirements. First है essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are those which cannot be synthesized in the body. जो हमारी body synthesize नहीं कर सकती है, which we require in our diet. Especially the essential amino acids, they occur in non-vegetarian diets. And the number of essential amino acids are 8. Valine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, threonine, tryptophan and phenylalanine. These are essential amino acids. Next, semi-essential amino acids. Semi-essential amino acids, they can be synthesized in our body, but इनका rate of synthesis जो है that is much lesser than the requirement. Especially they are synthesized in less amounts in children's as compared to adults. Adults के अंदर semi essential amino acids synthesize हो रहे हैं and they are not synthesized in children. So two amino acids, they are semi essential amino acids, arginine and histidine. And non-essential amino acids are those which are easily synthesized in our body and their absence in the diet does not adversely affect our growth. So our body can synthesize the non-essential amino acids, but our body cannot synthesize essential amino acids. So essential amino acids, they must be present in the diet. Non-essential amino acids includes glycine, alanine and the other remaining amino acids. So these are the 20 different types of amino acids which are present in the living organisms, and these 20 different types of amino acids, by combining in different numbers and in different ways, they have formed the huge variety of proteins. Now, what are the different properties of amino acid? First property, students, solubility. Most of the amino acids, they are soluble in water and they are insoluble in organic solvents. So amino acids, they are soluble, they are polar. Second, melting point. Amino acids generally have high melting point, often above 200 degrees Celsius. So they have high melting point. Third, taste. Amino acids, they may be sweet in taste like glycine, alanine and valine. They can be tasteless like leucine, or they can be bitter in taste like arginine. Next, monosodium glutamate. It is a salt of glutamic acid, and this is also known by the name, student, Ajinomoto, and this is a principal flavoring agent in Chinese foods to increase the taste and flavor. जितने भी Chinese foods होते हैं students, उनका एक characteristic flavor होता है, and this characteristic flavor is due to a chemical compound known as Ajinomoto, and this Ajinomoto is actually monosodium glutamate or a form of amino acid. Next, optical properties. All the amino acids except glycine, they are optical isomers. Why? Because they have asymmetric carbon atom. They have different groups attached with the carbon atom, and they are optically active. Optically active means they can rotate the plane polarized light either towards the right side or towards the left side. So they are either dextro-rotatory and they are levo-rotatory. Students, you will do the optical properties in detail in your chemistry chapters. Next, amino acids, they are ampholites. Ampholites means they are having two groups. One is the acid group and the other is the basic group. So they can donate a proton or they can accept a proton as well. So they are known as ampholites. So this was all about the properties of proteins. Next, very important property is the Zwitter ion. Proteins, they form Zwitter ion. Now what is meant by Zwitter ion? Zwitter ion means they have both the charges, positive charge as well as negative charge. Now how the positive and negative charge is attained by an amino acid? Look at this structure, students. This is the carboxyl group, and this carboxyl group is having COOH, and this is the amino group. Now the H is lost from the COOH and this is accepted by the amino group. And now the amino acids, when they are dissolved in water, they have two charges. COOH, after losing the hydrogen, that is the proton, it is having negative charge, and the NH2, after gaining the proton, is having the positive charge. So when an amino acid is having both the charges, positive as well as negative charges, then it is known as amphoteric in nature, and the ion which is formed when the amino acids, they are dissolved in water, this is known as Zwitter ion. This is known as what? Zwitter ion. So when the amino acid is dissolved in water, it exists as a dipolar ion or Zwitter ion. So it can act as a proton donor and a proton acceptor. It can donate the proton as well. It can accept the proton as well. Therefore, amino acids, they are amphoteric molecule because they have two charges, positive charge as well as the negative charge, and when they are having both the charges, then they can act as an acid as well and they can act as a base as well. So when the amino acids, they are acting as an acid as well as base, they are known as amphoteric molecule. So this is very important property of amino acids. Now students, how the peptide bonds they are formed between two amino acids. Peptide bond is formed between the carboxyl group of one amino acid with the amino group of the second amino acid. Like we can see in the figure also that the carboxyl group of one amino acid, it combines with the amino group of the second amino acid to form the peptide bond, and this peptide bond is formed by the loss of water molecule. So when the two amino acids they join with one another, then they join with which type of bond? They are joined with the help of peptide bond. So this is the peptide bond which is formed between two different types of amino acids. Now students, in last, what are the functions of amino acids? Amino acids, they are acting as the monomer units. They are joining together to form the proteins. Next, amino acids and their derivatives, they participate in cellular functions like nerve transmissions, biosynthesis of porphyrins, purines, pyrimidines and urea. Third, short polymer of amino acids called polypeptides, they perform prominent roles in neuroendocrine systems, like they help in the formation of hormones, neurotransmitters and hormone releasing factors. Niacin, serotonin, melatonin, they all are formed from amino acid tryptophan. Melanin, thyroid hormone and catecholamines, they are synthesized from tyrosine amino acid. GABA, which is a neurotransmitter, is synthesized from glutamic acid. Nitric oxide, which is a muscle relaxant, that is synthesized from arginine. And amino acid, they also act as precursors of heme, of hemoglobin, creatine and porphyrins, purines and pyrimidines. So students, this was all about the introduction of the biomolecules chapter, and today we have done a very important micromolecule, that is the amino acids. The amino acids, they are having two groups, the amino as well as acidic group, and they act as an acid as well as a base. So we can say that the amino acid, they are amphoteric in nature. So student, this was all about today's topic. Thank you all of you.